The Laṅkāvatāra Sūtra, Part 74. Mahāmati once more asked the Buddha, "Bhagavan, when you speak of nirvana, what do you mean by nirvana, as followers of other paths also imagine something?" The Buddha told Mahāmati, "Listen carefully and ponder it well, and I will explain this to you. Followers of other paths do indeed imagine something as nirvana, but what they imagine does not accord with nirvana." Mahāmati said, "May we be so instructed, Bhagavan." The Bhagavan told Mahāmati, "For followers of some paths it is the cessation of the skandhas, the dhatus, and the ayatanas, or the absence of worldly desires, or the impermanence of everything they see, or the non-arising of any and all mental activity, or not thinking about past, future, or present states, or putting an end to all sensation, like the extinguishing of a lamp or a fire, or the destruction of a seed, or not giving rise to projections. These are among their conceptions of nirvana. But nirvana, Mahāmati, is not the destruction of anything. Mahāmati, some think liberation is going from one place to another place, a place where thoughts of an external world cease, like when the wind stops. Some think eliminating the view of the knower and the known is liberation. Some see permanence and impermanence as liberation. Some see the different forms they perceive as the cause that gives rise to suffering, and they envision them ending. Unaware that these are nothing but perceptions of their own mind, they become afraid of forms and develop a deep desire to see no form, which they think of as nirvana. Some think nirvana is knowing what is indestructible among the individual or shared characteristics of internal or external dharmas of the past, the present, or the future. Some think of nirvana as the destruction of everything, including oneself, person, being, and life. Relying on the immature wisdom of followers of other paths, some see a primordial nature and a cosmic being, and between the two, the cosmic being producing an underlying nature which is likened to a kind of primordial force, which then transforms into tendencies, and the tendencies then acting as the creator, which they view as nirvana. Some say it is the end of good and bad karma. Some say it is the end of affliction, and some say it is wisdom. Some see a supreme power actually responsible for birth and death as nirvana. And some say there is no other cause of birth and death than giving birth to one another, and, due to their ignorance, they think this is nirvana. That this very attachment is the cause is lost on these ignorant beings. Followers of still other paths say finding what leads to truth is nirvana. Some see tendencies and the sameness of the combinations that tendencies give rise to, or their difference, or both of these, or neither, and think this is nirvana. And some see what nature gives rise to as nirvana, things such as the patterns in a peacock feather, or a gemstone, or the sharpness of a thorn. Mahāmati, some think nirvana is understanding the 25 realities, or upholding the 6 virtues that protect king and kingdom. Some see time as the creator, and the seasons as the world, and knowing this as nirvana. Some say it is something that exists, some say it is something that does not exist, and some say it is knowing what exists and what does not exist. And some imagine nirvana as seeing the difference between nirvana and whatever one is aware of. All these different fantasies advanced by followers of other paths fail to establish what they aim to establish, and are rejected by the wise. Mahāmati, All these conceptions of nirvana suffer from duality, and none of these conceptions of nirvana of other paths includes anything that arises or ceases. Mahāmati, each of these nirvanas of other paths has its own doctrine, but none of them are based on the examination of wisdom. Such conceptions unsettle and disturb the mind, and none of them results in nirvana. According to what I teach, Mahāmati, nirvana means fully understanding that it is nothing but the perception of one's own mind, and is not something that exists externally, and that it transcends the four possibilities. It is seeing what is real without falling prey to dualistic projections that are perceptions of one's own mind, and that are devoid of perceiver or perceived. It is not accepting the validity of any rule or measure, or following anyone ignorant of reality. Rather, it is letting everything go in favor of attaining the personal realization of Buddha knowledge, whereby one knows the two kinds of no-self, avoids the two afflictions, removes the two obstructions, gets free of the two kinds of death, advances to the higher stages and the profound samadhi of the illusory of the Tathagata stage, and transcends the mind, the will, and conceptual consciousness. What I call nirvana, Mahāmati, is what you and the other bodhisattvas should cultivate, and you should distance yourselves at once from the views of nirvana held by followers of other paths. The Bhagavan then repeated the meaning of this in verse. When followers of other paths view nirvana, they all give rise to fantasies, but the products of imagination are not the means to liberation. Blind to bondage and the one who binds, no skillful means in sight, such people imagine liberation, but a liberation that never arrives. The different means to knowledge, the philosophies of other schools, all are foolish fantasies. None leads to liberation. All these fools of other paths misperceive cause and effect, preach existence and non-existence from which there is no liberation. Fools delight in fantasies, not in hearing about the truth. Words produce three kinds of pain, which only truth can eradicate. Like an image in a mirror, appears but isn't there. In the mirror of projection, fools all see their double. Who doesn't know the mind or conditions gives rise to projections of duality. Once they know the mind and the world, projections no longer arise. The mind is a multiplicity, devoid of seeing or what is seen. Objects appear and disappear, or so fools imagine. The three realms as projections, external objects as not existing, perceptions as fabrications, fools can't comprehend. All sutras speak of projection, but never get free of words, because, apart from language, there is nothing of which to speak.